Lonestar 99.5, Lubbock's new country station. In the studio with us is Charlie Minn. He's a documentary filmmaker. He's based out of El Paso, New York. Now, he's made movies for Lionsgate, Lifetime Television, Investigation Discovery. He's also produced America's Most Wanted. His films represent innocent people who've been murdered, and this latest film, 43 Film, is the name of it, is screening at Tech tonight. You can see the opening at Premier Cinemas inside the mall on Friday the 23rd. And again, it's just called 43. It's about 43 students who went missing in Mexico, and they haven't been heard from since. And I'm going to let Charlie kind of give the backstory on this too. Can you give us a little bit of the background on this for people who may not have even heard of this happening?
Sure. September of 2014, 43 students studying to become teachers, college-aged. This is an all-male school called Ayotzinapa, which is in southern Mexico. They took a trip to Iguala to either raise money for an annual event that happens every October 2nd in Mexico because of 300 protesters that were murdered back in 1968, or they were there to protest a political speech given by the wife of Iguala's mayor over governmental practices, or both. They were going to do either one, and they were intercepted, and they haven't been heard from since. We've all heard about the missing plane in Asia. Mm-hmm. These are missing students from Mexico.
And to be honest, I do not recall this happening or being in the media at all.
Well, I have a better chance of becoming pregnant than the U.S. media covering the violence in Mexico. I don't know if it's because we're ashamed by it, because we're the ones contributing to the Mexico violence by our demand for illegal drugs. Mm-hmm. We're funding the war. We're sending guns to Mexico. So it seems like it's only covered when I go through certain cities to try to raise awareness. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm very thankful for the Lubbock media to cover this, like yourself right now. This is a tragedy that has killed 165,000 Mexican people in the last 10 years. You can't get around that number. Mm-mm. This is a staggering statistic, and that death toll exceeds Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria.
Crazy. Well, tell us about the film. Did you go down there? Obviously, you did some investigative reporting on this. Can you tell us a little about it?
Sure. The most prevailing theory is that the mayor of Iguala and his wife ordered that these students be taken away by the local police because they got wind of the fact that these students were going to protest that speech. So they were shot at in Iguala by the local police. Then they were handed over to the drug cartels. And again, the USA is fueling the drug cartels because of our demand for illegal drugs. So that's where the whole USA involvement comes in. Mm-hmm. The drug cartels then fired shots at them, set them on fire, and threw them into a junkyard in Iguala, into a landfill near Iguala. So that's what the government is telling us, the Mexican government, excuse me. But a lot of the parents are disputing the government's report. And the Mexican government has just launched a new investigation. I'm certainly not confident about their new investigation because the Mexican people, for the most part, hate their government. They call them murderers. Mm-hmm. Like literally, they go on the street and they yell murderers to their own government. So we're talking about a country that's bleeding right now with so many murders, innocent people. Mm-hmm. This is the saddest story in the world today that deserves more coverage. I'm here to deliver that coverage in the form of documentary filmmaking. Mm-hmm. Documentaries are about people, and everybody has a story. Documentaries are meant to inform, educate, and raise awareness, and you can't solve a problem unless you talk about it intelligently. Being sad and silent does nothing. Nothing leads to nothing. Something leads to something, like smart activism. Mm-hmm.
Do you ever fear for yourself being involved with this?
Not at all. This is my 5th film in the war zone in Mexico. 3 in Ciudad Juarez, which borders El Paso. And then I made one about Chapo Guzman, the biggest drug lord in the world, and he's been all over the news. The other day he just got away, and I guess he broke his leg by doing it. I mean, how anyone knows that, I'm very suspicious of that.
Yeah.
How would someone know that and report it? Obviously, that person has contact with Chapo Guzman and is probably working as an accomplice. So this is my 5th film in Mexico, and glad to bring it to Lubbock. I mean, Lubbock is 1/3 Hispanic. Mm-hmm. Texas is 40% Hispanic. Mm-hmm. I'm from West Texas. The movie should start here.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, it's very intriguing. I just talking to you for the short time, I love this kind of stuff anyway. I mean, I love these mysteries and hoping they come to a solution too. What's the end game? Are you hoping that this brings some justice. Obviously, are you optimistic about that?
I'm not, because look what's happened in Mexico, especially in the last decade. 95% of the murders in Mexico are not investigated. I mean, I could hear the screams from the innocent Mexican people in my sleep. Justicia, cuando, ahora. I mean, I could just hear that in my sleep. Mm-hmm. And you talk about a country that needs justice, that's Mexico. Again, 95% of the murders are not investigated in Mexico. Their own government said this.
God, that's unbelievable. And they have 43 students at one time go missing.
Innocent students. If these were cartel members, then nobody would have cared.
Yeah.
It just would have went in one ear and out the other. But these were innocent students that they're trying to better Mexico.
Yeah.
They're the people of tomorrow. They're in college.
Yeah.
I talk to Texas Tech students. I go to classes there, and I always say, you guys are the people of tomorrow. Mm-hmm. You guys are our hope one day. Your opinion matters. So here in Mexico, they're starting to become teachers, and they're most likely murdered.
Yeah. Sad story. Well, we invite everybody to get out and see this film and find out what's really going on. There's, again, a screening at Texas Tech tonight.
6 o'clock inside the basement of the English building.
Okay. Perfect.
Friday will start at Premier Cinemas inside the mall here in Lubbock. Starts this Friday, the 23rd of October, and it will run for at least 1 week. For more information, you can go on the website 43film.com, and that's the number 43.
43film.com, and we'll have this all on our website too in a post, and you can get a lot of the information and backstory on the website too, 43film.com. But again, it's our pleasure to have Charlie Minn in here, and
we're giving away
tickets. Yes, and we got tickets to give away too, to bring this to light. And again, I think a lot of people are going to be a little shocked, saddened, hopefully. Is that really they need to be to realize what's really going on down there?
Well, if my films don't create emotion, then I should retire as a filmmaker and go door to door and sell encyclopedias.
Yes. Well, again, we invite everybody out tonight at Tech, and then Friday night out at Premier Cinemas. And we thank Premier Cinemas for bringing the film to Lubbock as well. Thank you, Mr. Minn. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.